Hello everyone, I'm back again. I'm bringing you a story out of, make sure I pronounce it right. It's Palmyra, Maine. May not be pronounced right. It's going to involve Shelley Rockwell Martin, Eric Martin, and Chelsea Harth and Nathan Harth. Location is Maine. This was really hard to find. Through some of my colleagues and friends I have, we was able to get a date for y'all. Happened May 25th of 2015. On that moon would have been a harvest moon. Would have been the 25th, the same day as this happened. It is also Memorial Day weekend. The encounter we're going to talk about, they have it listed as bipedal werewolves. I'm going to put it as possible bipedal canine werewolf creature. I like to let y'all make your own decisions, but it's a pretty good one. Eric, he was working, which was Shelley's husband, and he got injured. So they began to look for a house, something a little cheaper they could afford. She took off work. His injury, I'm assuming from what I read, it didn't go into exact detail, but from what I could get, it was to his legs. Anyway, she quit her job to stay home to take care of him. Times got tough, both of them not working and everything, so they started looking for a cheaper place to live. And while they were looking, she found a beautiful place in Palmyra, Maine. It was a beautiful cabin surrounded by the woods. Eric's family also were avid hunters and everything, so it ended up being a really good thing for Eric too, because he liked to hunt, and this is going to give him the chance to live out in a cabin out in the middle of the woods. It's heavily dense. It says densely woods, so very dense woods. And I guess that, they were both pretty excited. They found a cheap, beautiful place in the woods. It's a cabin, something he enjoys, except Shelley doesn't like guns. So her and her husband Eric come to an agreement that the guns would be kept out in the barn. So Eric went out and received help from his friend Nathan, and they built a box out in the barn to keep the guns in, locked away with the ammunition, and each gun was put into a sleeve. He's very, very particular about his weapons, as I am. I'm also that way. But it was a beautiful place. They were enjoying it. Everything seemed to be going good. Whenever the weather was nice, Shelley and Eric enjoyed going out on the front porch, and she'd make coffee in the late evenings, and they would sit out there and visit, and just have a kind of a romantic evening together. It's nice out, the wind, you have your hot coffee, just a relaxing moment. And I'm sure it was for him too, being injured. One night in particular, while they were sitting out, I want to mention this. It wasn't mentioned in any of the others, but I found this out. I checked the weather for that date. And also from a report that she actually gave. I found a report where she talked to a lady that actually wrote a book on this, so it was pretty interesting. But anyways, the night was very misty. It was like a real misty night. Said it wasn't a downright rain, it was just a mist, just a kind of a cooler, misty night. They were enjoying their warm coffee on their porch. I've got a lot of notes. If I keep looking down, I apologize. Off in the distance, they noticed what appeared to be some pulsating lights out at the wood line, and they first thought it to be hunters, maybe poachers. Like I said, it's a very densely populated area of trees and stuff, and it very well may have been hunters. It may not even be anything related to the incident. So keep that in mind, that not always are these things going to, all be related. We have to look at them, because a lot of people, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to jump out and they're going to say UFO because there's pulsating lights. I'm not saying it is or it ain't. I'm just throwing it out there to let you know that, it may be totally, it could have been hunters, it may not have been hunters, could have been related. But anyways, they notice all these pulsating lights out at the wood line. And they're sitting there. Their friends are over. And all of a sudden, Shelly, she keeps getting more and more, I guess irritated at the lights and everything. So she sends her husband, Eric, and their friend Sean down to the wood line to investigate. When they got close to the woods, they said the lights shut out. There was no lights. They were pretty scared. Both of them said they, were uncomfortable feeling. But they spread out anyways, and they went out and checked. That way they could, satisfy the women that there was nothing out there going to get them. And as they done their full investigation and everything, they said there was no footprints. They didn't come across anything. There was no noises. Just quiet. So they figured that whoever was out there, they had, ran them off. While they were visiting, they heard a few noises when they returned that didn't sound familiar to the area, but of course they hadn't lived here, so they wasn't real sure, what they should be hearing and what they shouldn't be hearing. Chelsea, their daughter that was 18 years old, had a boyfriend come and visit, and they decided to go to the woods, and they was going to go on a walk, and they took the family dogs with them. While they were on their walk, the family dogs had got ahead of them, sniffing, running, doing whatever they did. And she said they had caught a scent. And they took off, and they go all the way down. And finally, when they catch up to the dogs are around this big hole in the ground. She said it was almost spooky. It was like a deep, dark hole. And you couldn't see to the back of it. But the dogs wouldn't go in either. The dogs were sniffing around it. They were acting kind of scared, kind of jumpy. They kind of growl, yelp, jump back. It was pretty unsettling for them. So they decided, hey, we better head back to the house. This is kind of weird. It's getting late. So they end up going back. And this is all happening, during Memorial Weekend. He'd come down to visit her. I guess probably staying, maybe the weekend. The night it came, and Shelly had went to put the dogs out to take them out to their pen for the night. The dogs stayed out, and they had dog pens for the dogs at night. And she said the dogs couldn't hardly get them out of the house, which was unusual. They were usually really ready to go outside, to run, play, stretch, go to bed. They were used to that. It was routine. But this night, she had to grab them, and Eric had to help her best he could to forcefully take them out and lock them up. Even her boyfriend had to help. So, the dogs were afraid, to go outside. They were sitting out on the porch again. They were having their coffee. This time it's late night, which was unusual for them to do. But while they were sitting out there, they said they heard a noise that was very scary. It bothered Eric more than Shelly at first. He said it made him feel very uneasy. He said he didn't even feel safe. So whatever noise he heard, it doesn't say, exactly what they heard, but they heard something that really caused Eric to not feel safe. He started, trying to get, Shelly to go into the house. And, of course, she was, I don't want to go in, I don't want to go in. She wanted to stay out and everything. But they heard the noise again, and they said whenever they looked, they shined their flashlight, and they seen 5 sets of eyes out in the dark looking at them. At that time, her and Eric both ran into the house, shutting the door behind them, said they locked the doors. Eric was feeling really unsafe. They were hearing some really wild noises outside. Hoots, whistles, howls. And they said it was really deep, and it just kept on and on and on. And, a lot of people say, were they trying to scare them, or maybe they're communicating with each other, circling, you don't know. I think they communicate like that. That's my opinion. All animals communicate, even birds. But anyways, as they ran in the house, they locked the door and everything, and then Shelly, she ran upstairs. Eric stayed downstairs, I'm guessing probably due to his injuries. It wasn't comfortable for him to go up the stairs. Here's the weird part. Shelly called the police, and when she called them, she told them, she said, hey, there's these weird things out here. We're not sure what they are, and she made the mistake of telling them some kind of creature. It's a small town, small police department. The police at that time, she said, really started not taking her seriously. In fact, when she said that, she said the officer kind of kind of laughed and said, "Go in the house, lock your doors, stay inside for the night. I'm sure everything will be fine." Pretty much rushed her off the phone, said they were busy. It was the weekend, Memorial weekend. Small town, small police department. My grandma, when she was having this problem, was looking out her window and watching this thing walk on her car. She called the sheriff's department in the county that I reside in. I was there for the call, and they told her that they were busy, that they'd only had a few deputies on duty and would send one as soon as they could, but to lock her doors. And if it wasn't trying to, come in, they probably wouldn't be out because they had other things and were having to answer calls on a higher scale. I've seen that happen a lot, even in my profession, so I know it does happen. If you ever have to call in, don't ever tell them you see a creature. Say it's somebody, even if you have to. That'll get them there. But anyways, Eric started to go outside to his vehicle. He decided, hey, I'm going to get my vehicle. I'm going to back my vehicle up to the porch. I'm going to load my family up. We're going to leave. They kept hearing his house. Well, while Shelly's upstairs, Eric's deciding he's going to go outside to get the vehicle. She looks out the window. When she looks out the window, she sees 5 what she believes to be oversized wolves. One was black, the rest were brown. They were setting out on a gravel area in front of the house. She said, staring at the house. When she looks out of the top window, one of the creatures sees her because she has to pull back. She has real white see-through, the window curtains. I drew a blank. She draws back the window curtains, and it spots her, and she says when it sees her, it stands up on its hind legs and looks at her. So she really gets scared. So she screams for Eric. When she screams for Eric, the animals outside all stand up bipedal, and they start walking toward the house. Bipedal. She said they had very large muscles. Their legs were larger at the top. Almost, she said, it looked more like kangaroos than the back of dogs' legs. She said they were very big at the top. So Eric finally makes it upstairs, and she tells him, hey, this is what I seen, and everything. So Eric looks out. He sees one standing out by the pile of rocks. It stands bipedal and just stares at him. So he shuts the window. He goes downstairs. They start putting heavy stuff up to the windows and doors. They're barricading themselves in. They finally decide, hey, let's go upstairs. We'll barricade that door. We'll stay in our, in the room tonight, all of us together. The house had a sub roof on it. It had, a roof lower than you had the second story. They don't never tell where this address is, guys, but through some help from my other investigators, was able to find the house, and I'm going to post the pictures for you to show you where all this happened, to give you a mental picture of what's going on and kind of where this happened. And if you'll also notice in the picture coming up, the door was replaced in the area, and you're going to find out why here in a second. But anyways, while they're upstairs, these creatures are around the house. They're beating on the house. They're scratching on the house. And she said it almost sounded like they were digging at the door and digging on the door facing and scratching it all up. And they were really trying to get in. And the whole time they're howling and making noises back and forth, I think communicating. They're scared to death, and who wouldn't be? Well, it gets even worse. While they're upstairs, one of them manages to make its way onto the porch. It crawls up to the second part of this roof, which is right even with the second story window. She said she sees it walk in front of the window. Eric sees it. Their daughter Chelsea and the boyfriend sees it. And it puts its paws on the window and is trying to look in the window. And they can hear it sniffing. Now, can you imagine it coming through the window at you? That had to be running through their mind. It'd be running through my mind is, when is it going to come through? And probably in Eric's mind, is, man, why'd you make me put my guns out there? I mean, you'd feel so helpless, and it'd be a scary situation. But anyways, it's trying to look in. It can't see them for the curtain. They're in the dark, and it's a little bit lighter outside. You got the full moon. And if it's light outside and dark in your house, it's really hard to see in a house. We tell a lot of people, turn your lights out when you have prowlers. They were really scared. Anyways, they ended up staying in this room all night, and this continued. The next day when they got up, they went downstairs and eventually went outside and noticed the front door was tore up. It's all scratched up. And noticing the picture that I found of the home, the door is replaced, so it gives some credibility to the story. The house is for sale also. They sold the home immediately and moved away. Now, I found another thing. There's been some other reports of stuff going on in this area, and I found a report, because I dug pretty deep on this one because it was really scary to me and pretty interesting. There was another man in this area. Said he shot at some bipedal, what he called werewolves, running across his corn pasture. A lot of people ridiculed him until a lady ran over a beast. She ran over it. It is photographed. I am going to show you a picture of it. They called the wildlife department to come and try to identify what was dead. Wildlife department refused to look at it. Told them to leave it where it was at. Not asked them. Told them. Refused to look at it. Sheriff's department would not investigate it. So the gentleman took the photos, and I do have a photo of it. To me, the head looks very... it looks almost humanish, maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure. Y'all drop me a comment if you think it looks humanish. If you think it's just a regular animal, let me know what you think. But I think it looks really weird. I think it fits into the black thing she's seen. It may not even be related, but I just know a lot of this stuff was going on at the time this thing was killed. Now, the DNA was sent off by the gentleman that killed it. And here's the funny thing. The DNA comes back and they say, well, it's a canine, part wolf, and part something else we don't know. But it's a hybrid. But if you listen to all the other stories that the police departments tell and the labs tell, DNA tests don't tell us exactly what it is. So either they don't or they do. And why is there so many conflicting stories when people try to find out what these things are? But anyways, here's the picture of it. I'm going to put the photos of the house here at the end so y'all can look at it. Hey, if y'all enjoyed this, hit the like button. Helps me out a lot just by y'all hitting the like button. I look forward to your all's opinions and hearing from y'all. And I'll answer as many as I can. But I thought y'all would really enjoy this one. It's pretty scary, I think. And until next time, guys, be safe and God bless.